So this valve in your car, and they vary, they look a lot different, some look very similar, it's probably the most neglected maintenance tune-up item in your vehicle. What is it? A PCV valve. And I have found that this valve has actually been the cause of many misdiagnoses, consisting of engine failure, blow-by, rough idle, and a lot of other issues that people have misdiagnosed just by failing to change this part over here. So I have my 2011 Honda Pilot, and I'm just going through this and just pretty much doing the 100,000 mile service on it, and just going a little extra just to make sure that we have many years and many miles trouble free with this engine. Time belt, valve adjustment, I mean, you name it, we're doing it. And one thing that I want to do, which I do on all my vehicles, is change the PCV valve. So in this car, or SUV, it's located right over here underneath this wiring harness, which is right over here, and I'll get you a better picture in a second. But before we go into taking that out, let's talk about what is the PCV valve, what does it do, and when should you change it. So the PCV stands for positive crank ventilation. It's a one-way valve attached to the crankcase. Your vehicle's crankcase holds your engine oil, obviously, and it's located at the bottom of your engine. The engine produces gases when your engine burns fuel. Before emission controls device, exhaust systems traditionally release the crank gases from the vehicle, but sometimes these gases sneak in between your engine, pistons, and into the crankcase. This can lead to the gases mixing with the motor oil to create corrosive, engine clogging sludge. Additionally, the gases exit through the exhaust system. They damage the environment by polluting the atmosphere. But in order to help prevent the oil sludge from clogging up the vehicle's engine and protect the environment from the toxic gases, the PCV valve was created. So essentially, a PCV valve controls the emissions. It takes the gases produced by the crankcase and routes them back into your engine's combustion chambers to be safely burned out without harming your vehicle or the environment. While the gases exit the crankcase through the PCV valve, they cannot return into it. That's why it's a one-way valve. This prevents the crankcase from developing engine-damaging oil sludge. And additionally, a properly cared for PCV valve can give your engine a little bit more power by helping the crankcase and piston rings improve your chamber's compression. So unlike oil and spark plugs, there's really no set way of saying when you need to change it besides either it fails or it works. But I have found, in my opinion, 30,000 miles is a good time frame to actually change it. And also, they do last longer. I have seen PCV valves with 100,000 miles, 200,000 miles, and they're still working great. But there are some signs that occur that show that you need to change your PCV valve. So over time, the gases flowing through the PCV valve leave traces of oils that can clog it up. So if you look at this over here, this is where the check valve sits. When this gets clogged, the valve can't move freely. And a lot of times when you go to move the valve up and down, you don't hear the check ball kind of clicking up and down. When this valve gets stuck, it actually creates excess engine pressure, and it's actually confused symptoms of bad seals, bad gaskets. You can get excess sludge around your engine, noticeable oil leaks, your check engine light is on. Sounds like a vacuum leak that's inside the vehicle. So yeah, and also this could cause misfiring, like I talked about earlier. Poor performance. I mean, a lot of things just really happen when this thing gets stuck. And like I said, when you get them and you take them out of your vehicle, some of them are L-shaped, some of them are just different types, and this is the one for the Honda Pilot. Check it to make sure, number one, that it's properly sealed and seated. The hose and tubes that are attached to it are still good and they're not broken, because that creates a big vacuum leak. And also the fact that the check valve is moving freely. If the check valve is not moving freely and you rattle it and you don't hear the check valve, there's a good chance that it's bad. Another thing you can do is blow into this and make sure that the check valve is sealing, creating a good seal and not allowing the gases to go right through it. So the PCV valve location. Your motor is right over here, and if you look, you have your battery right over here, and we're on the driver's side. And if you look right over here, you see your EGR valve. Now let me get a light. I'll kind of give you a better idea. Now, most cars, they're easier to find and they're pretty straightforward, but this one's a little hidden. And in my experiences in other Honda engines, they just tend to be usually not in a typical place, but it's fine. So if you look right over here, see if we can get some better lighting. If we look right over here, you're going to see this bracket that holds the wiring harness over here for the coil packs and other wires and accessories. But if you look right over here, you see where that bolt is? That's actually the bolt that holds the PCV valve in place, and that's where we're going to be working at. So now I have my 10mm over here, and it's a little bit overkill, but it's kind of hopes to give you guys what I'm seeing. Let's loosen it, which this comes out pretty easy, and just kind of be mindful of the bolt because you don't want to drop it. So now that it's out, I think I'm going to go ahead and just kind of loosen it by hand. Alright, so the bolt is out. Let's go ahead and put that safely over there. And now what we want to try to do is, I know this bracket's in the way, I want to see if I can wiggle this out. See if we can get a screwdriver and pry it a little better. Alright. And I want to try to keep my hand underneath just in case anything pops out, but for the most part, this should. There we go. I don't know if you see it right there where my flat tip of the flathead screwdriver is, but there's a little piece that seals it, so make sure we grab that. And we got this thing out, so let's go ahead, switch to the bench, and I'll show you what this thing looks like. Alright, so this is the old one, and this is the little seat that I told you about. So kind of like when you're removing it, make sure you hold on to this and account for it. If you lose it, then I don't know how you would find it, because it definitely don't come with the new one. This is the old one, and it's got a lot of junk and crap on it. So now don't confuse this for an engine that's been poorly neglected. I mean, this is, you know, kind of symptomatic of it, but you got to remember, this gets all that exhaust gas and nasty crap just kind of sucked into it. It still moves freely. So, I mean, I'm sure this is bad. I mean, I'm sure this is not bad, but it's still a good preventive maintenance item to do, and why not? These things typically cost about, depending on the vehicle, anywhere from $5 to $20. Volkswagen has a more exquisite system that involves these crazy hoses, and that whole system costs upwards of $200. I know the Ford 2.3, 2.0 Duratex has this weird system behind the intake manifold, but typically most cars it's just a typical valve like this. This one is for the 3.5. So yeah. So now that we have that in, we're gonna go ahead and pop in our new one, which our new one seems to be fine. And this one, well, I guess that one is stuck. So all right, let's pop it in. So now one suggestion I'm gonna make for this is, you see this piece right over here? If you try to fish it in, especially with that wiring harness holder for the engine in the way, you take a chance of dropping that, and if you lose that in the engine, that could get agitating. So just take a little dab of grease. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, and just kind of pop it on. And what this will do is this will kind of help seat it in place. You can use tape. I've done that too, but this kind of works. And that way, when we go to put it in, we won't drop it. So let's go ahead, let's head to the vehicle. Alright, so the hole is right over here, and as you can see the hole for the bolt we took out. Now, I could have gone ahead and taken this off just to kind of make it easier, but I just wanted to show you that you really don't have to take a lot to do this. Now, another thing to keep in mind too is if you look, there's two gaskets over here, especially the one on the top. If you develop a mysterious oil leak over here, check this. This could be leaking, so I have seen that happen a time or two. So now let's go ahead and feed this in. You can see the little bushing is trying to fish itself out because I pushed on it, but we could go ahead and push that in. Now we can put our bolts right in. So as you can see, that thing went kind of push itself out, but luckily I got enough threads and to keep it from falling out. Let's go ahead, keep tightening it. Just kind of make sure that it lines up and it seats properly. Alright, so that's the bolt right over there. That's the valve. Just went ahead and tightened it up. Kind of had to not show that on camera because I just need to get into my wrench over there. As far as torque spec, don't go crazy with it. It's plastic, just snug, and you should be good. The grease method really helps in keeping that piece in place, and I highly recommend that so you don't drop that little piece. And then if you drop the bolt, that's kind of on you on that one. So to sum it up, this is the most neglected tune-up item that a lot of people just tend to forget. And yeah, my opinion, every 30,000 miles, I usually change them out. It's really easy on most vehicles. Some of them are just straight up right in front of you, and it doesn't really cost much. And I've seen people, like I said, just throwing out engines and totally misdiagnosed vehicles just because of this right over here. I'm a firm believer that if the basics and the foundation is running good, then everything else should work right. If you have good oil, good spark plugs, air filters, and a PCV valve, then any other issue you're trying to track down is a lot easier because you're not having to say, hey, what if it was this? And yeah, I've seen people buy coil packs and mass airflow sensors, just tons of things, and just amazing how this causes so much degradation of performance. So hope this video helps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see what we fix.